obviously Minions are basically if you remember back to Toy Story and those green aliens, they were sort of the first real animated
sort
craze.
of identifiable characters that you could kind of cling to. Marketable.
Yeah. They were sort of the start of it, and obviously if you look further down the line, there's like things like the Rabbids from the Rayman games, those horrible, annoying balls of crap that I really want to punch every time I see them. But there's something about Minions which, there is a lot of hatred for them. People are sick of them already, and they're really, really divisive, I guess, because obviously kids love them and some adults love them. I know Mark Kermode likes them a lot.
He loves them.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, basically Minions is a film directed by, I don't want to butcher his name, Pierre Coffin?
It's Coffin.
Coffin.
You'd think it's Coffin, but it's actually Coffin.
Pierre Coffin.
Yeah.
Okay, he was the co-director on the first two Despicable Me's, and obviously now he's doing this. He also does the voices for the Minions.
Yeah.
So that was obviously a very talented man, and I'll get to the voices in a second because they're really good. So it's basically, it's three, I don't know if they're random minions or not because I haven't seen the first two Despicable Me's, but three minions called Kevin, Stuart and Bob, who are basically the classic sort of, I guess it's middle child syndrome or like prototype, like where you've got the rebellious child in the middle who doesn't play by the rules. You've got the main child who was born first who makes the rules, and then you've got the lowest child who does, well, the rules don't apply basically.
Yeah.
So obviously Kevin's the main child, and then the middle child Stuart, and Bob's the smallest child. So it's very much like that sort of classic brotherly.
I hadn't really thought of it like that, but that's interesting.
Yeah, it's sort of like classic brotherly setup, so you've got a good dynamic going there already.
Are we going to have some deep psychoanalysis of Minions here?
There's definitely not going to be a deep psychoanalysis of big balls of yellow fluff.
There's one like the ID and the ego and the super ego or something like that.
It's just like it is. I mean, it's good, and it lets them have personality. I mean, I don't know if they were in the original two because obviously I haven't seen them, but it was very much Steve Carell's thing. But you look now at the marketing for like the original two Despicable Me's and the marketing for Minions, and every cover of like the DVD, the Blu-ray posters, it's all Minions now. Steve Carell's basically been pushed to the back of the box. He's not really a main fixture anymore. So I mean, but this is sort of the prequel to those films, very much is actually. But so it's their story, and like it starts off in a really good way. I mean, obviously there's been much talks about how the funniest part of the film is indeed that beginning bit where it shows you how the Minions were formed. Their one purpose is to serve the evilest villain that they can possibly find, whether that's a Tyrannosaurus or Napoleon or as dark. And they don't show Hitler, probably for good reason.
I was thinking
they
ended at
Napoleon.
If they had a bit of bottle, maybe we could go down a Hitler route, but they didn't.
Yeah, which is fair enough.
But they didn't.
They end at Napoleon. That's the last big boss before the adventure begins. So it's really funny to see that because obviously there's a voiceover by Jeffrey Rush, and it's really funny to see that they sort of evolve from these single cell amoebas to going on to all of those horrendous villains like the Tyrannosaurus, going through time, just watching them constantly get into scrapes, which means they lose their villain and have to find their next villain. So really funny to see that. That really endeared them to me quickly. Really good animation style as well. And the thing is, the voices for the Minions are just so endearing. Like you literally can't hate them. Like if in doses. That's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah.
As long as you don't...
You can't hate them, but they're just so sweet.
It's just so inventive. I mean, it's a mixture of like 5 languages. Like I think it's French, Spanish, German, English hybrid or something.
You get a big sort of French vibe from it, but it is essentially just gibberish.
Yeah, exactly,
with the occasional word sneaked in.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it is gibberish. Most of it, I think quite a lot of it is like just mixes of languages.
There is quite a lot of inflection in the way they speak.
But I like just like one of the minions will come over to the other minion and be like patting him on the back to tell him he's okay, and he'll be like, "Come by, ya." Like just all these random.
I thought that as well.
All these random words, just like and like I think they call like fromage, for things that are like
and
stupid.
Of course, the now famous banana.
Bottom, it's
bottom.
like they're just so endearing voices. They're not just like the rabbits who are just like screams, or the aliens who are like wah, that like they have actual voices and personalities. They have accents, and like they literally just say that he says the names of the minions are so straight amidst all of this foreign inflection, and it's just really funny to see. He's a really talented voice actor. So I wonder what he'll do next. So that's a good thing to see. But
I do think they're going to do more Minion stuff and another Despicable Me film.
I'm guessing that's already being made, I suppose. Yeah,
possibly.
And it's just such a classic animation style as well that it's really enjoyable to watch. They're so squishy and cuddly. You can see why they're all like pillows and duvets and matchboxes and everything.
It seems they just can't die.
Exactly,
they get crushed and squashed, and they just can't die.
So ludicrous. They're literally just tubes of. They're like plankton. but made like
but
one
nice.
eye.
Yeah.
One eye. Just these squishy balls of fun that is unstoppable. Just
squishy balls of fun.
It's really just like it's just completely irreverent. They're just there, and they're just pointless and stupid, but they're just gloriously funny, and it's just so fun to see them just interact with the environment, no matter what they're doing. That's probably part of the big joy of it, just to see these stupid inventions interacting with a real world environment, and those funny mix of languages and the personality really adds them together. And there's the story throughout, basically the main story is that they meet up with this, they're trying to find the new villain, and there's a villain convention, and that's where they run into Sandra Bullock's Scarlet Overkill character, who's the big boss, and her husband played by John Hamm, and Michael Keaton's in it as well, but I didn't notice his voice, and Steve Coogan.
I didn't. Steve Coogan is in the convention scene.
All right.
And Michael Keaton's the dad of the family in the car.
All right. Oh no, well, obviously Sandra Bullock and John Hamm are the main villain couple, and they're basically trying to work with her to steal the crown jewels and become, their minions, her minions. So that's pretty much the main sort of pull of the story, and it's just really great to see them interact with sort of America and then modern day London. Well, not modern. It's like 1968, I think it's set. Yeah, something like that. And just all these like classic British references. I mean, there's an Abbey Road scene, which is, it's just all these classic. There's everything.
You can tell it's coming, but you still
everything from Doctor Who to Fish and Chips to everything completely British, and it's just a wonderful parody of it. It's original as well. And it is just so fantastic to see this. I mean, just like Paddington last year as well. Just like seeing something so weird interact with a contemporary British, well, not contemporary, but a classic British environment. That vibe of it, and it's really good to see that. And it is just relentlessly stupid and over the top, and that's what it should be. That everything about Sandra Bullock's character and everything about the minions interacting with her, it is just so ludicrous, and that is the central premise, I suppose. It's literally just a villain who's got all these gadgets and everything, just being helped by these massive yellow balls of fun, and it is just inherently ludicrous. And the finale is just completely. You can't describe how stupid it is, but it is just so gloriously funny to watch. It is. I mean, I wouldn't call it the best animated film of the year, because there are problems, but that you just don't care when it's just so endearing.
That's the thing, isn't it? It doesn't sag.
Yeah, it's like a nice massage. You just can't hate it. Well, it's true. It is. It's like.
It's a weird comparison, but okay.
You can't. It's just so endearing. You just can't hate it. I don't think you can. You've got to be very cynical to hate something like this, because it is just so endearing and hilarious and just over the top.
I've always had a soft spot for them without ever even seeing them in the film, and I just see them on adverts and stuff, and they get me. Like, they get me in absolute fits. And this film does that. It doesn't sag. It doesn't sag at all. It keeps the momentum going all the way through. Constant laughs from the very start to the very end. So I think
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see that. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I would definitely recommend it. I mean, there's been quite a lot of people who would say that adults have been laughing more than kids because some of the references to 60s London, and I would agree with that. There are it's really smart humour alongside with the toilet humour, and that's what a good family film should be for me.
It is amazing when you look back at kids' films as from a different lens, essentially looking as adults now. Kids' films, and you see all the references, and it's a different experience, and that's what I really like.
All the innuendos and everything.
This film will have longevity.
It will run and run and run. It's going to comfortably make at least 700, 800 million.
It probably will.
Right.
If you've seen Minions, do get in touch. LRJ Film Show on Facebook and Twitter.